Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah. I hope you are all doing well today. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than my last two. I have fallen behind in essentially all of my planners, quite frankly. There's just been a combination of things have been really busy. I've had a few medical health related issues, and then those health related issues have kind of gotten me down a little bit. So I've just fallen behind, and I feel like when I do fall behind, it's like once one thing is behind, there's a domino effect and everything falls too. So I thought I would start my catching up process with the most easy, I guess, planner, which is my hobbies journal. I have a sticker sheet in here. I don't know what that's doing there. I have a Hobonichi Weeks in the black gingham as my hobby journal. I really cherish this planner. Yeah, I really like it. And I think it's probably the easiest one to crack back into after having been gone for a few weeks. I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. I haven't done anything in here for 5 weeks, which that feels like not real to me. It feels like it's only been 2 weeks, but I guess it has been a while. So I'm excited to dip back into this. I think that this will help me have a little bit more momentum to keep going and, you know, fill out all the rest of my stuff. I'm gonna plan to have another check-in video on how my systems are going, because I have made a few changes to my functional planning system, and you know, that might be interesting. So yeah, we're just gonna have fun today, I think, and work on filling in the past 5 weeks. I've printed out a lot of hobby related photos, and I did some extra books and things like that, book covers, to be able to incorporate in. So I think that having more photos in here is gonna help, and I'm planning to just like look on my phone in my photos and look on like if we had an order, like a purchase or something like that, then I can look that up, the shipping information and things like that. And then if I need any other help besides that, I tend to go into my conversations, like my messages, and find, like if I sent photos to my sister or my sister-in-law, then usually there's like evidence of what was going on during that time. So that's my plan. I've got the biggest cup of tea I could possibly have. It's literally like the size of my hand. I don't know. You probably can tell that it's abnormally large. And then I've also got a little snack. Oh yeah, and the other thing is that I know that it would be boring to watch me like cut out these photos for 30 minutes, so I'll probably edit together the more interesting parts of this whole endeavor. And I did just open YouTube on my iPad. I have it like set up over here, and I saw that Lindsay Scribbles has a new video out, and backfilling was mentioned in the title, so I am excited to watch that as well. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna start, I think, by just cutting out some of these bigger book related things. Some of these photos are for my memory keeping planner, so I'm just gonna set some of these things to the side that aren't quite relevant. I feel like as I'm cutting these things out, I'm realizing how much I might need to explain things. I got a pair of running shoes, and I had been putting off buying running shoes for like 3 years just because I really loved my old pair. My old pair they were Reeboks, but it was like in partnership with National Geographic, and they were a beautiful shoe. They were giving me really bad blisters from where they had worn down so bad. So I had to get a new pair, and I also wanted to get a pair that had like a wider toe box. So I ended up going with these Ultra ones, and they feel like I'm walking on a bounce house in the best way possible. Like, they're so comfortable. I really, really like them. We've got a bit of sun creeping in, so hopefully the lighting doesn't get too crazy and change, but we'll see what happens. For most of these, I've just used scissors to cut out the photos. However, if I have quite a bit of straight edges, like with these book covers, I'll often use whatever this is. It's not the best because I think sometimes it really gets things off a bit, even when I have it like lined up the best that I can. But that's fine. This cover is particularly difficult to cut.
One eternity later.
Okay, so I've cut out all the little bits and bobs, and I had a few bits of ephemera that I don't actually think that these will fit because I believe I have already done the week that these would go on. So there's that. I think next I'm going to take a pen. Actually, let's not use a gel pen. Let's use a ballpoint pen. Ah! I've been searching for these. Dang. That would have made cutting half of this out so much easier. But I think I'm gonna go through and just like pile them into what day they occurred on, or what week, I guess, so that I have a little bit of an organizational system and I can just go week by week and have it sorted out. So let us do that. Okay, I have cut everything out. Some are rough cuts, some are not, and I've dated the back of everything so that I have a general idea of where it needs to go in my book. And I think I'm gonna start with my reading calendar, just because that sounds interesting. I did realize as I was cutting out that I missed one book. Actually, did I miss more than one? Sometimes these little bits of paper fly off with so much force that I'm slightly alarmed that a piece of paper is going to fly off into this candle. Okay. Oh my gosh. Absolutely startled me. Sorry about that. My husband just got home and he brought me a latte so I can swap out my diminishing tea. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm missing a book, which is fine. Am I missing more than one book? Yes. Okay, I'm missing 2 books. I'm gonna have to write that down. I'm missing Brave New World and North and South. Okay. Yeah, so I think what I was starting to say was that I tend to do a mixture of audiobooks and ebooks. I occasionally will read a paperback or like a physical book. I didn't realize until this past week, as I've been reading a physical book, that I find physical books very difficult to read. I think because I'm just so accustomed to using a ebook and an e-reader that I guess I think I just, like, throughout the day and depending on like if it's nighttime or not, I will change the font size to either be like quite large or small. I have a complicated relationship with my eyeballs. I feel like they just don't cooperate very well. I've just realized through reading a physical book again that I really do depend on my e-reader to be able to change settings. Which is quite nice that like I have that ability. I don't think it would be a big enough problem. Which way does this go? This way. Ooh, dear me. I don't think it would be a problem to the point where like I wouldn't be able to read. Like it's not that extreme, but it's just more comfortable, I think. Okay, we've got cloud cover again, so unfortunately the lighting has shifted yet again. Okay, I think the next thing I want to do is just take a look at what days I'm missing things. Okay, I've made myself a timeline of these things in order. So I know that on 4/14 I finished this book, so I can put that in there. And this week actually goes all the way to 4/12, so, or I mean 4/20. 4/16 I finished that book. Oh yeah, and I have a bigger photo of it as well. And then this is 4/12. Oh yeah. So yeah, I finished that book. I might just stick that down there so that I feel like I've really I'm just sticking it down. I really liked the way that most of these weeks turn out, where they feel very eclectic and I don't know. There's something I really like about it, and then this week I did not like the way it turned out, and that might have been the start of me avoiding. I mean, it wasn't really, but I'm hoping to bring some joy back into these pages. Okay, so the 14th through the 12th is, that's the 16th, this is the 20th. Okay. I have quite a lot of Marigana Suli's book related stickers, so I'm thinking I might add some of those in. Do I want to do that color palette or do I want to do that one? I'm thinking this one. Do I want to put this down here? Probably. And then let me add these stickers down. Add a bit of washi tape. Okay, and then I'm thinking this would be a good sticker for over here, since it is a notebook. That, I think. Oh Lord, have mercy. Okay. Okay. I can't remember. I might have already started talking about this, but I was really excited for this book and I thought it was going to be really good, but I just kind of felt like, sorry, I read The Notebook, A History of Thinking on Paper, and I was really excited for it and I felt like it had a lot of promise, maybe is the right word, but I was kind of a little unsatisfied with it, to be honest, and I just felt like, I don't know, I'm curious what other people think about it. It felt a little under-researched, I guess, is how I would word it. I had that right there. And maybe the reason it felt that way is because there's just really not that much information out there on the history of notebooks. But I don't know. I'm really curious what other people thought. I felt a little bit let down in the level of detail and information there was. So I feel like my handwriting is going to be quite messy in all of this. I kind of have like a symbol key for this. When I finish a book, I have a circle that is colored in, and then when I start a book, I have a circle that is open. So that is what I'm doing here. I started this, The 7 Principles of Making a Marriage Work, like last year, and I thought it was really good and informative. Sometimes nonfiction just takes me a while to get through. It did really make me feel like I was like on a reading roll, I guess, because I like finished 2 books so close to each other, but it was just because this book, like, I literally started ages ago. I guess I should also say that just because I felt The Notebook, A History of Thinking on Paper was like, it was a really interesting book and it's worth reading, but I felt like at some points I was just getting more of the author's like own perspective and own thoughts on the subject rather than like the actual history of the Notebook. So that's kind of my rambly thoughts on it. As I was writing a little blurb about my thoughts, I also remembered the fact that for some reason I felt like there was an odd number of stories of people taking their own life in the history of the Notebook. And they didn't always feel like they were necessary, which was just another side note as like a weird reason the book was like not my favorite, even though I thought it was still an interesting read and like worth reading. I think I would probably just give it like 3 stars or some, like 3.5 stars. And you know, now that I say that, I did make myself star stickers. Are they just sitting in the back of here? Yes, okay. Let's put that down there. Okay. Okay. This is the first week done. I added in some star ratings on the side just to give it a little bit more. And I just colored them in. That's kind of how I designed those stickers to work, is that you just color in what your rating is. Okay, so the next week is... It already actually has some stuff written down, which is helpful. I spent a lot of this week sewing, which was good. And I also finished 3 books. So, or I was working on reading 3 books. And then another big thing that happened that is hobby adjacent is that my husband bought me a baritone uke. It is similar to I don't know what they're called. I know that there's like concert ukes and something else. Tenor? I don't know. I have no clue. I am very ignorant when it comes to the instrument, but when I was sick in the hospital when I had cancer, there was a music therapist that would bring a ukulele around, and she would either just like play for me if I was too sick to play, or she would give me lessons, and it was really lovely and great. And so I have a little bit of familiarity with the ukulele. And so my husband, his job involves music and he loves music, and so he's always wanted me to learn an instrument for real. And he always thought that I would enjoy the baritone uke because it has a little bit of a deeper, richer sound, and you can learn a lot of classical guitar songs on it, which I think is fun. So that was kind of the big thing that happened this week, was that this instrument arrived. Okay, I think I'm gonna go like that, and I might just leave that book off. I would like to add some kind of washi tape. This one looks like a thread bobbin. I also have these stickers, which I already put a sewing machine one down. Okay. I kind of don't know how I feel about the gold with the mustard. It feels a little bit too close, but too far. So I'm kind of thinking of this little quiltish looking one. I also have this washi tape that has like needles and thread on it. No, I think I want to use this one. I just went onto the Singer website and found the sewing machine that I have and downloaded the stock photo of it so that I could have a relatively minimal photo sticker of the sewing machine that I use. Okay. My husband bought me this sewing machine a few years ago. He is amazing and is always so supportive of any kind of creative endeavor that I'm interested in. And I'm really the kind of person who is like, I would like to try anything and everything. I was literally just watching a video on this craft where you take dirt and you sift it and then you polish it into a ball. And I was like, should I try that? Literally anything I'm interested in. And so he's always wonderful, and like most of my birthday gifts or Christmas gifts are craft related and things that I can do, and I really appreciate that. Before he bought me this, I had found a sewing machine for free at the school that we both graduated from. They have like a free thrift store that people donate to, and you can just go get stuff for free. And there was a super, super, super old sewing machine. It was like a Montgomery Ward sewing machine. And it worked. I'm sure that it needed work done to it, but yeah, I was using that. It was great, but it could only do like a straight stitch. And I was really wanting to make clothes for myself, and it was also absolutely insanely heavy. Like, it was so heavy, and I couldn't keep it out all the time, and the case for it was broke, so you couldn't like lift it by the handle. You had to like get under. It was crazy. Anyways, so yeah, my husband replaced it with a more modern sewing machine, and as much as it was sad to get rid of the vintage one, I really didn't need it, and I was grateful to have a sewing machine that was going to be able to do like a zigzag stitch and different things like that. So this one has been great. It's so much lighter to move off and on my desk when I sew, which is great. But yep. I think I'm gonna put some washi tape up here. Yep. Okay, so this is how far we've got. I have to actually go, so I have somewhere I need to be. So I'm gonna wrap this half of the video up. I might pick this up and continue filming. So if so, then you will obviously see that.
3 hours later.
Hello everybody, I'm back. It's a couple hours later, and I've got a third drink. Okay, so we left off with 3 weeks to go. So yeah, let's just keep going. This would be the 28th through the 4th, which is all of these. Okay, that's a lot to work with. Oh yeah, this is the week that I finished my toile of like the sample of a dress I want to make. It actually turned out pretty well. I was quite impressed with it, to be honest. Also read Brave New World, finished that. Also read The Convenient Marriage by Georgette Heyer. And then I got a new pair of running shoes on... Oh. I ordered them on the 2nd. I guess I could put that there. That seems pretty good to me. I printed out more than I needed because I'm planning to add some to my memory keeper, but I haven't done that yet, so I'm trying to decide if I want to save this cute little arrangement for that, or if I just want to put this one in here. I like it too much, I think, to not do this, so let's do that. Do I want it over here? Right there. This book by Georgette Heyer, The Convenient Marriage, was really interesting because I discovered it on like a blog post about books to read when you've run out of Jane Austen books. I had assumed that The Convenient Marriage was inspired by Jane Austen times but written in a modern day and age, and there were phrases in it that just felt a little off. Like her high heels clicked. Like that feels like a more contemporary phrase. And as I was reading it, it was reminding me of like The Great Gatsby a little bit. And it also had this like Bridgerton vibe. I've never seen the show or read the books, but I obviously like know about Bridgerton. So I ended up looking it up because part of me was just like, is this written by, like I said, I don't know anything about Bridgerton. So I was like, is this written by the same author as Bridgerton? Or something like that? Because I've heard a lot of people compare Bridgerton to Jane Austen, which I don't really think it's a fair comparison. I get that it's like similar time periods, but it's very different content and storylines and plot points and things like that. So I looked up Georgette Heyer, and she's from the 20s. Like, she was writing in the 20s. So I guess it made sense that it was very Great Gatsby-esque. And I found a blog post about how Bridgerton is really inspired by Georgette Heyer in all of her novels. And that made a ton of sense to me, because I would definitely say that while The Convenient Marriage was, I don't know, it felt to me like the only thing it really had in common with Jane Austen was the time period. Other than that, I felt like it was way closer to F. Scott Fitzgerald than it was Jane Austen. So, I don't know. That's just some thoughts on that book. If you have any Jane Austen-esque recommendations, please send them my way. Or any book recommendations at all. I feel like, it's not that I'm in a reading slump, but every book I've picked up recently, I've been like, wah. But that's been true of my journals as well, so maybe it's a me problem and not a book problem. I had a dress related. Okay, I have these two. It's not bad. I will take that under consideration. The other thing I have is this cute little wardrobe box. I've seen these going around on different like stationery sites. Like I've seen a few like produce ones and things like that. But anyways, and it comes, it's so cute. Oh my gosh. It comes packaged with like a little packaging receipt and a little gift tag. Not gift tag, but hopefully you know what I mean. Anyways, I have some of these clothing items that could work. Okay. It looks like there's only 2 dresses. There's a long stripe one. That kind of looks good. And then there's also this like sleeveless one. Okay. Let me pack my box back up. Okay. I think I might be leaning towards this one just because it's the most similar to, like the colors are similar. It feels a little bit more harmonious maybe. And then let's add this pin cushion. Okay. I think that's good. And then I can write a few little bits and bobs. Okay, I just wrote the shoe that I bought, the type of shoe it was right there, and it bled through a little bit, but that's fine. Okay. I added a few things. I just wrote in Sid tie dress toile because this was my sample garment, and the Sid tie dress is the pattern I was using. I just wrote a little bit about how I finished it, and I also added this washi tape just to kind of balance it out a little bit more. I like the way it turned out. We're getting close. This is the week we're on. It's currently the 15th. This is the week. Got a new fountain pen. So excited. Also got a new journaling tote. I watched North and South. And I finished a book. So, I guess I don't have too many big stickers. I printed out a really big photo of the pen, the fountain pen that I was given, and I kind of want to use that. I printed it for my A5 memory keeper, but I think it would be fun to have a giant fountain pen in here. I might do that, and if I really am passionate about it, then I will reprint it. And I printed a bigger photo of this bag, and I'm kind of tempted to put that in there too, so that I have less space to write. But, I'm not sure. Let me have a think about this. Okay, I have decided to go with the big pen and the smaller photo of the tote bag. And then I think I'm also gonna include the little clothing label tag from these stickers. All of this was a gift from my sister-in-law. She is amazing. She's currently getting a master's degree in philosophy, and I watch her kids, my niece and nephew, while she's in class every week, and as a thank you, she bought me an amazing gift bundle full of stationery goods. So she got me a Lamy Safari fountain pen, which is amazing. I'm so excited about it. That's what is written here. I was so excited that I actually cracked this open and wrote in it, which I feel like is saying something considering how I hadn't touched it in so long. So she bought me that. She bought me a journaling tote. That is the journaling tote, and it has this amazing embroidered detail. Oh, I'm obsessed with it. Yeah, and then she got me some stickers. I already took the sticker sheets and put them in this sticker release binder that I have. Yeah, she got me that sticker sheet, that one, and that one. Needless to say, I felt quite spoiled last week. I think I'm going to add a little bit of washi tape. I'm trying to decide if I want it to go across the page like that. I think so. Okay. And then on Wednesday, I went to the dentist, which sounds like a totally normal thing to do, but I am deathly afraid of the dentist. And I feel like it's just, I think dentists are rough because a lot of dental stuff has so much to do with genetics. And then on top of that, there's always that like stigma of like having gross teeth. And I think just with my medical history, having had gone through some serious cancer treatments and stuff like that, I don't know, hate any medical thing. And so unfortunately I have a tooth issue. So I went to the dentist on Wednesday, and afterwards I was just in such a emotional state that I literally watched North and South all day. Like, I watched the entire show. Then I organized my stickers while I watched it. Like, that's what I did the entire day, which was great. I was able to get a lot of things organized. I've been wanting to organize my stickers for a long time. So it was the perfect balm for my emotional self. Okay, do I want this to be pin straight or do I want it to be curved? I kind of am weirdly liking it being straight. Okay. And then last but not least, we've got this sticker. I want to add in that I finished I Who Have Never Known Men. My sister-in-law also gave me this Deco Rush book tape. I am horrible at using Deco Rush tape for some reason. I always mess it up. So I think I'm going to try to do that across the top here. I did it. I'm proud of myself. Okay. And I might also add it maybe down here. Oh, see, this one I'm already messing up. Am I pressing too hard on it? No! I went in overconfident. And then I think I'm going to use my Lamy Safari. It came with a blue cartridge, so that's what I'm using. I haven't bought any other cartridges yet, so we will see how long this lasts me. But I think I'm gonna try to order some ink samples. See how that goes. I just remembered that This book was another part of the gift my sister-in-law gave me. Plus I started reading it like immediately. Where do I want to put that? Ooh, I didn't think about this in my... I wish it was just a little bit smaller of a cutout. How the heck do you spell safari? I was an English major and I worked in a writing center for several years, and you would think that I could spell because of that, but I can't. I swear I can never write consistently. Like I was trying to do all caps in print and I switched to lowercase and I don't understand. I don't understand how I did that. Okay. My sister-in-law also gave me these Mindwave little animals, so I was thinking of just adding a cute little one right there. Right there. Okay. And then this week, it's currently the 15th. So for the 14th, I finished a book. I'm also, oh yeah, I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Oh my gosh. I am literally so flabbergasted by that. Thank you all so much for watching my videos and supporting me. Like, I'm just so thankful, and I have so much fun making videos, and I know that I like don't post regularly, or I don't know. I feel like a goober rambling, so the fact that there's 1,000 of you who care and think that it's interesting enough to watch along means so much. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. I printed these out today because so I found some napkins actually at it's called the Share Shop, but it's the like, I don't remember if I mentioned it earlier, but it is a free thrift store that the school I went to for my college degree, they run. And I found these napkins there that are made of 100% cotton. And I really liked the pattern of it, so I thought that I might try my hand at turning the napkins into a tank top. So there's that. And then I really want to get to work on the quilted boxy bag pattern that is gonna be my like Delphonics dupe. And I have some fabric that I'm planning to use as the sample. Like, I just want to know that it's gonna work before I use some like nicer fabric, so I can actually show you what that looks like. Hold on. Okay, so for my Delphonics dupe, my plan, I'm gonna use this quilting fabric. Yeah, I've had this fabric for literal years. I found it when I was a college student at the free thrift store. I really like it, but I don't know exactly what I would use it for. I feel like a tote would be really pretty. It's too stiff and see-through to be a garment, so a bag is a good use for it, I think. So this will be the outer fabric, and then I'm thinking I have this green. It's not a perfect match, but I think this will be the lining. I wanted the lining to be a darker color just in case like ink spills in there or anything like that. Or if I end up using it as like a makeup bag or something. I wanted a darker lining color. So these are the two fabrics I think I've come up with for my sample boxy quilt bag, which is a pattern from Rosie Caldwell, maybe? I will link the YouTube channel down below. She does sewing videos and things like that. That will be the first attempt at making my own Delphonics bag. For my real deal, I got this from Spoonflower, which is actually located in North Carolina, which is the state that I live in, which is really cool. And I will link this down below because I know it's by, like, a designer makes this and then uploads it to Spoonflower, and then you can have it printed on a fabric. So yeah, I want to do this as the outer and then the black as the inside. And if I can, and I'm brave enough, I'm actually going to take apart this leather tote bag that I was given. It has some like staining on it, and like it is in good condition, but the strap is unfortunately very short and it makes it difficult to carry around, especially when the bag is at like max capacity. So I think I might try to cut this up and have like the bottom and the outer pockets be in this leather. I don't know if it will be too weird, like if this is too cool tone and this is too warm tone. We'll see. If not, I might just play around with this, but my sewing machine I think can handle sewing this leather. Like it's thin enough that I think it would be able to handle it. But that's kind of like my vision for the final Delphonics pouch dupe that I'm excited about. That's the hobby related stuff I've been thinking about this week. And these are the napkins. I don't know, this color and pattern is a little bit outside of my typical comfort zone, but I don't know. I'm going to the beach in a few weeks for a family vacation, and I just thought it would be really fun to have a tank top that I made. Maybe if it's a tank top, it won't be so like overwhelmingly loud on me. We'll see. I have no clue if there's even enough fabric to make it work. I think I measured it out and I think that it will work. It's an old, I think that's like the Target Dorm Essentials logo. But anyways, that's what I want to do. So I have those thoughts written down here. I am thinking I need to check when I actually hit 1,000 subscribers. It's getting dark and my candle is officially out. So, you know, this is just taking a long time. But I'm having a great time, so I hope you are too. I was looking at when I actually hit 1,000 subscribers and I realized it was last Sunday. So I think I'm going to, or no, it was last Saturday. So I think I'm just gonna add that little bit right there. I love this page. There's something about the blue and cream that feels very summery to me. I really like that. Alright, I'm gonna let that dry, and then I need to think about what exactly I want to do for this. I guess I also could mention that I printed these out in Canva, and I used their like, it's a frame that is supposed to look like a Polaroid. I often use their either film or Polaroid frames. Sometimes I think it just gives a little bit extra, I don't even know, interest to the image on the page, like it sets it apart a little bit. I was very consistent in using, I don't know if I have an example of it. Yeah, this is like one of the film frames where it's like a black frame around the edge, but I was very consistent in using that, and I think I just started to get bored with it, so I switched to this one, the Polaroid one, I guess, and it's okay. It's not my favorite just because it tends to blend in, I guess, not look so interesting. This green in the photo looks like the Miami Dolphins, and that isn't. It almost has like a teal look to it. It's kind of throwing me off. Like I wanted the green to be like a warmer, richer, mossier green. But that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And then I might try some of these stickers. I don't know. I fear that I'm a little bit bored with how this is gonna look, but I don't know what colors to use because I feel like this green and this green look very opposing. I could use a brown. This one. Yeah, I'll just go with that one. I'm trying to decide if I'm brave enough to draw a little goofy illustration of the tank top I'm envisioning. So I guess I'll try. Okay, that's my goofy illustration. Do I want to put a piece of washi tape across to separate this off? I think I might. Or I'm not sure what my plans for the weekend. I think I will do that just for the heck of it. But I might work on some sewing things over the weekend. So I do want to leave some room for that. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave things there. Today is Thursday, so I have filled this whole page up already. I don't know what my plans are for the weekend, but hopefully I will have room down there if I want to add anything. I feel good about it. I do need to update my paint swatches. Other than that, it's basically completely updated. So let me show you what we've done. Also, if anyone was wondering about, I love this journal because I think it is helpful for me to see the progress of my endeavors, I guess. Because all the way back in February, I was thinking about a Delphonics pouch and how I really wanted one. I still think it would be nice, but I wasn't sure about it. So then, if you fast forward a few weeks, I ended up buying this boxy bag pattern from Rosie Caldwell, thinking that I can probably try to make one. And before I did that, I wanted to experience, I guess, making a bag that was a little bit more simple. So I made a flat zip pouch right here that I gave to my sister-in-law for her birthday. And around that time, I was really obsessed with this patchwork dress that Sydney Graham made. And I really wanted it. I wrote about how I wanted to do it. But I had too many hobby-related projects all on the go at the same time. And so I told myself before I could even start on that, I needed to finish at least 2 of the projects I had. So I decided that I needed to finish a Halloween quilt that I was working on. I at least needed to finish the top of it, the quilt top, like patch it all together so that I could hand quilt it this fall during spooky season. I just thought that that would be really fun. And I needed to finish a crochet project. So if I keep fast forwarding, I was working on these things. And then this week I finished my crochet project, which was a heating pad cover. It turned out great. I was excited about it. I started that all the way back here. This was when I had the idea for it, and that was like the inspo for what I wanted to do. So I started it back in January, and then I finished it here. I just think it's really fun to see a little bit more in a smaller view what I was working on. And then this is the patchwork quilt that I was working on and the options that I wanted to go with. I had put them into grayscale to see what the overall effect would look like and chose which way I wanted to patchwork it. And I guess that is one thing I haven't written down, was when I actually finished that. But I think I actually finished it this week, so I'll need to go check in my photos and see when I finished that. I'll add that in really quick. But yeah, I finished that. So then I was able to work on the Sid tie dress, which is what I worked on this week. I started my toile, the sample garment of it, and I finished the top. And then the following week I finished the skirt and the dress. So that is that. Completely done. And then I took a little break from sewing because I realized I was gonna need backing fabric for the patchwork and I didn't have any, so I was not sure what I was doing. Anyways, on Wednesday of this week I found these napkins, which I think hopefully that will be like a 2-hour project. With me, things always take longer, so who knows. But when I found these napkins, I also found a queen-sized white sheet. It's not 100% cotton, but it is like 50% cotton, and I think the drape is good enough that it will look decent. Like it won't box things out too badly. This dress was made, the toile was made out of a vintage bed sheet that had a lot of moth holes in it, and I didn't want to use a fabric that was too precious, which it's wearable, but it is quite stiff because of the fabric. So anyways, it's just fun to see the progression, and I really like that. Okay, that is everything for today. I hope that you enjoyed this. I had a grand old time. Normally I blow out the candle at the end of my video, and the one time I didn't, my dad texted me and was like, what happened with the candle? So I will add in when I blew out the candle when I left to go to the gym today. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all being here, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!